Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rapid Response brought to you by Apex Benefits and our sister company, Axiom Human Resource Solutions. I'm Todd Rokita. I'm the General Counsel and Vice President of External Affairs at Apex. I'm joined by two great colleagues today.
I'm Brooke Salazar. I am the in-house counsel, associate counsel here at Apex, and before I started lawyering, I was an HR professional as well.
Thank you, Todd, for having me. My name is Andy Zell, founder and CEO of Axiom Human Resource Solutions, a local community-based payroll and HR provider delivering human capital management software through Kronos Workforce Ready.
Well, thank you all. Let's get right into the agenda today. We're gonna have several rapid response programs for you. The first one is going to deal with the CARES Act, which just literally minutes ago was passed by the U.S. House of Representatives after coming from the Senate on its way to the President's desk. We're going to talk about the Small Business Administration provisions, the payroll tax provisions, unemployment insurance will be covered in another one, as well as the individual aid, and then finally benefit plan and HSA questions will be handled in a third, and then more to come after that. But first, let's talk about Small Business Administration provisions. Andy, you deal with hundreds of clients who are all different sizes. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing how am I going to pay my employees? What am I going to do during this shutdown? How am I going to, make payroll really and pay the benefits and things that I have for the employees? How can I?
Right. So we have the Paycheck Protection Program. It's new under the CARES Act. It's going to be administered through the Small Business Administration. It's going to be a 7A loan program, like many of your clients may be familiar with. A lot of ours are at Apex. But it's basically a 4% interest rate loan, 100% guaranteed by the SBA, a 10-year term. Who's eligible? All businesses, including 501c3s even. The requirement, you have to have less than 500 employees. But even if you look at that, if you're multi-sided, each site can apply for help as long as they're under 500 employees. This even includes sole proprietors, independent contractors, other self-employed individuals. So the public policy here really looks like it has a chance to work. If we're trying to get liquidity into the economy, if we're trying to get cash into the hands of small businesses so that they can keep their employees paid while we get through this extraordinary event, this are the mechanisms of government to do it. There's a requirement even that this all has to be up and running within 15 days. SBA lenders are the ones that you go to first. We're getting more of those, according to this bill, into the system, and we're going to continue moving. There's a concept called delegated authority in it, where the loan doesn't even have to go back, Brooke, to SBA for review. It's simply the lender on site can determine, if the business was there February 15th, if it had employees. If you can prove basically those things, you should be able to get emergency money, emergency loan.
Is that typical, Todd, for these type of SBA loans?
Well, it's a lot less difficult now. Usually you have to get the review done. It can take long. There might be a backlog. Okay. All that under this is supposed to be cleared out.
Okay.
This is for payroll costs, guys. This is for group health care benefits. It's for salaries. It's for mortgage obligations. It's for rent. It's for utilities. It's even for other debt obligations that the business might have incurred before February 15, 2020. There's an automatic, going to the next slide, there's an automatic 6-month deferral. So principal, interest, fees, if you look at number 7 there, will be automatically deferred for 6 months as long as you retain your staff for at least up through June 30th, 2020. This loan will be forgiven. It won't all be forgiven, but 8 weeks of it that was used for salaries and rent, utilities can be forgiven. Brooke, do you want to take 5 and 6?
Sure. So my first question would be, how much can you borrow? So the maximum amount is the lesser of $10 million or 2.5 times the average monthly payroll based on last year's payroll. And then my second question would be, how long is it going to take me to get it? Right? We need the money now to cover payroll now, especially with the FFCRA. I think something that's extraordinary that's in this bill is that the SBA has authorized lenders to process, close, and service without SBA approval, which should really pump those funds into small businesses. And then if you can't pay it back.
Are we talking months or weeks?
From everything I've seen in the law, guys, I think it should be weeks at the most. We'll get into some other issues in the next session about taxes and getting cash from the IRS directly. That's a whole other ball of wax. It should be supposed to be even quicker. But as far as big government programs and 535 people in the federal legislature getting together and moving on something, this really means a lot in terms of the small amount of time it took to get this bill done, frankly. It also means there's going to be a lot of holes and a lot of gaps for sure in it that will have to be filled by agencies and by and by some regulations and guidance. But there you see under number 8, can the entire loan be forgiven? No, but some can, and I think that's good movement. Also, economic injury disaster loans, they can be utilized, but not for the same purpose as the Paycheck Protection Plan loan that you might be getting. For example, an economic injury disaster loan can be used for operating capital, and the PPP loan can be used for payroll.
Okay.
The economic injury disaster loans have also been expanded. There used to be a personal guarantee that a business would have to put up. That's been waived on loans below $200,000, and the requirement that the applicant needs to be in business for 1 year has also been waived.
All of this sounds almost too good to be true. So where do I go to get started, and can I start today?
Well, you would go to your SBA lender, but I'm not sure where the bill officially is at right now. Last I heard, it was traveling from the House to the President. Todd, where do you think the bill is right now?
I think as we're speaking, it's already law. I mean, they're allowed to use electronic transfer and everything else now. So President Trump has indicated he intends to sign it for sure. So the relief is on its way. Yes, go to your SBA lender. And remember, there's a lot more lenders coming into the system. I don't know that every bank is an SBA lender, but there's a lot of others that are being brought into the system to be able to handle the crush of, again, what should be a very simple, very easy to prove applications.
Great. I just submitted mine.
That's it. Yeah. And thank you, everybody. That's it for this edition of Rapid Response. We'll see you next time.